that she wrote, "Speech to the young, speech to the progress toward. Say to them, say to the down keepers, the sun slappers, the self-soilers, the hominy hushers. Even if you are not ready for the day, it cannot always be night."
Sir, flex I do work. Sex up like Mike. He's out of sight. Woo, we got me pipe. You man like Ike. Six out the spot.
To be night.
Yeah, this life I'm living. All the advice been tipping. Give me that grip, no slipping.
Wow, it's a big Buckeye. It's a big Buckeye Saturday, so you know we had to go with the double intro. We got the new college football pregame show intro, so we are here for the best damn college football pregame show. Here with my guy, Chris Drew of Menace to Sports. How you doing, Chris?
Fuck Stephon Robinson.
Yeah, man. Fuck Stephon Robinson. If you know him and you see him, smack that nigga. But it's a big Buckeye Saturday, man. What the fuck is going on? Like, we got so much shit to talk about, but like, man, I was writing a show this morning and I'm just like, all I want to talk about is the fucking Buckeyes, man. This game cannot get here fast enough. I mean, people are counting down like it's the night before Christmas last night. Like, how hype are you for this game? Because it feels like, I mean, we've thought about Buckeye football finally returning, but it is now here. We have a ranked opponent. We are in prime time tonight.
Bro, it's the top 10 matchup, bro. I woke up talking crazy to everybody. The neighbor, the dog, my little cousin, my little brother. I even talked crazy to my mom for a quick second before I was checked because it's just a black household and you can't talk crazy to moms. But I've been acting up, bro. I've been acting up. Everything I see, everybody I see, I'm treating them like Stephon Robinson. Like, it's really on site. So I'm really excited for the game, Ron. And honestly, bro, like Lou Holtz had me so tight last night that I woke up and I'm like, bro, I can't wait till that old ass nigga has to eat his words. Like, that's what I'm.
It's truly crazy that we had an episode of the Buckeye Roast on Wednesday where I gave my 5 reasons why I hate Notre Dame. And my number one reason was Lou Holtz. I said, I fucking hate this man, and I have my entire life. And everybody in the chat was on my head like, no, Lou's a good guy. I like Lou. He's not that bad, bro. And then here he comes out acting like a fucking op, bro. I seen it. I could see it coming from a mile away.
Yeah, bro. I'm going to keep it a beam, bro. I like old people, but if I ever saw Lou in person, I might trip him.
Kinder than me. I was thinking in my head, my line was push him over, but I mean, if you want to keep it discreet, now I really got that much smoke for bro. I really do not like that old motherfucker. But this is not just Ohio State talk here. This is the best damn college football pregame show. So we are going to be covering everything from a national perspective, and I just want to jump right in to the ops, though. I'm saying, oh, this ain't Ohio State, but man, we got to talk about our guy, JJ McCarthy, bro. I thought we were going to see a Heisman campaign this year. What happened?
Bro, every time I talk about JJ McCarthy, bro, Michigan fans say he must have banged my girl because I'm obsessed. And I had to explain to a Michigan fan this morning that I do a daily 90-minute podcast on Big Ten sports, and I calculated the amount of time I talked about JJ. Out of 450 minutes last week, we talked about JJ for less than 15 minutes, and yet somehow I'm obsessed with him. No, you sons of a bitch. I get paid I make my daily living, my salary off talking about college sports, and Michigan fans come in the chat and want to call JJ generational. Your coach wants to call JJ generational, and I'm here to say, no, he's not generational, because here's the one thing generational quarterbacks never do. They don't throw 3 picks against MAC schools. Period.
That's what bro looked like a PSAC quarterback last week.
Yeah, like, we gotta be for real, bro. And then I have people type because I'm like the Michigan fan base. I like a lot of them. There's a lot of real niggas, like my nigga Darnell. That's a real nigga, but some of them get crazy with this generational quarterback stuff. I have not heard a single Ole Miss fan call Jackson Dart generational, and Jackson Dart is better than JJ. But enough about that. 3 picks against BG, bro. And honestly, this to me is the most intriguing Rutgers game of all time. Of all time.
We have a guest joining us today, a Rutgers fan who has ties to the staff that is going to be coming on to talk about this game, because I got a call earlier in the week that said, man, Michigan's on upset alert, bro. I think we can do it. He was like, we like to run the same style of game against them. Like, they didn't have the bodies last year to really compete with them in the trenches, but they returned a ton on their defense. They're going to try to slow the ball, or they're going to try to slow the game down. And Ryan Day has talked about that all year, about teams trying to take the air out of the ball against us and just make it a grinded out game, run that clock. And if Michigan goes out there and plays a slow ass game, and Rutgers is slightly able to stop the run, and they have any sort of success on the run, what does Zach always say on the show? 2 first downs is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Control the field position. And if Rutgers is able to go out there and win the field position battle, I think they could stay in this game.
No, and it's interesting because, like, bad teams benefit so much from, or not bad teams, overmatched teams benefit so much from this clock rule, that this could be a scenario where Rutgers takes the air out of the ball and we want to go home and play. We saw it last year, but with the different clock rules when Michigan played Illinois late in the year, a team with really well-coached defense, a good defense, and a defense that was able to stop the run and squeeze JJ. So JJ showed me last week that, honestly, the level up that's been talked about all offseason from him might have been an illusion. And if it is an illusion, then Greg Schiano, who honestly made CJ Stroud's job a little uncomfortable last year, might do it again, because he is a very, very much of a I'm going to confuse young quarterbacks type defensive coordinator. And honestly, he gets that from his NFL ties. So this could end up being a weird game. I'm not predicting Rutgers to win. But for me, at least, like, if I look at the national landscape of things, I feel like Michigan has to win big to maybe get some respect back, or win big for maybe JJ McCarthy to get some respect back too. And I don't know if they will win big. So for me, they got a style on, bro, and I don't know if they can. So, and Greg, as a former Buckeye, bro, do us a solid. Like, do something. like honestly, like when former Ohio State coaches go elsewhere, Ron, I'm like, all right, I want you to go somewhere and take down my top op. And I think that about transfers too. Like with Tate Martell, my thing was, all right, go beat Clemson one time. Obviously, we saw how that worked out. With Jeff Afton, when he left, all right, go be a thorn in Clemson's side. Hasn't worked out. With Joe Burrows, like, okay, go beat Bama. He did that. The issue is he ended up becoming too good wing and natty. But for Greg Schiano, like, hey, do us a solid, bro. You still rock that scarlet and white. Like, go beat somebody.
Absolutely. I mean, and there's multiple people on that staff that were on the Ohio State staff. Analysts left that Ohio State team and are with Greg to this day at Rutgers. So big Buckeye shit going on for the Scarlet Knights. So hopefully they can get one done for us. You talked about JJ, his struggles. Do you think he's pressing right now? Drew Aller's balling. I mean, he had a little bit of a slow week last week. Kyle started the ball.
I think he wants to win a Heisman. And I think he knows that it's out of reach given the style of ball they play. So I think whenever he gets a shot to take a shot, he's taking the shot whether it's open or not. Ooh, that was kind of fucking fire. Hold up, bro. Anyway, I think he is pressing. I think he is pressing a little bit because I think, honestly, bro, like if you were to go around the country, or at least go around Big Ten country and ask who's the best quarterback in the Big Ten, almost all of them outside of Michigan fans are going to say Bro, Drew Waller's that dude. So yeah, I think he's pressing out. Shit, I would be pressing too. If another creator came up here and was like trying to be the best ever, whatever, they were with some other school like Michigan, they look like me and they dress like me, I'd be like, damn, nigga, no, I'm starting to press.
So I know you. I should have grabbed the graphic. They had the Heisman. They had the Heisman odds up there, and they had all of the Heisman contenders at quarterback. And we saw JJ McCarthy up there, and they had all his stats compared to everyone else's. And then you go immediately to the comments, and you see the meme with all the guys at war, and then the one clown with them up against the wall. And it's like, one of these guys is not like the other. And I feel like if JJ continues to press, and as these games become more meaningful, Michigan's going to run the ball, and they're not going to be able to pad stats and treat every game like it's Hawaii and try to chase a Heisman for JJ, or they're going to fucking lose a game. He will throw a game away to them if they try to chase a Heisman. So I think this Heisman conversation is about to die for JJ. I feel like you're going to see Michigan revert back to their run raid, and you're going to see JJ be the game manager that we know he can always be.
You know, it's funny because I think JJ is a good quarterback. I just differentiate between good quarterbacks and Heisman-level quarterbacks. I don't think he's a Heisman-level quarterback. And for Michigan, I think this is a two-part situation, right? Like, what benefit does it have for you to put the ball more in JJ's hands than it is to stick to your bread and butter, that is Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards? Well, I'll tell you, Ron, Bryce Underwood. That's the reason. You got a kid in your backyard that's a great, great player that you want to land. And the best thing for him optically, he's looking at LSU like, damn. Daniels, even though they lost the game, Daniels is able to kind of be creative and be himself and go crazy. And he's done that before. Look at Colorado. Prime's recruiting really heavy. You see Shedeur. Like, damn. Shedeur threw for what? 470 and 5 touchdowns against TCU? Damn. And then you look at Michigan, and it's like, what do you do against Bowling Green? 134 and 3 picks. So it's become like we want to land the best quarterbacks in the country because that is how you win titles. And how do we land the best quarterbacks in the country? Well, we have to prove that the 5-star quarterback we landed that we called generational from the head coach's mouth is someone that's worth a shit in the Heisman conversation. So it feels like they're trying to prove this for recruiting purposes. Because honestly, bro, like if they miss out on Underwood, Ron, that is now Dante Moore and Underwood, both from the state of Michigan, the chosen ones, going elsewhere because they see what's going on. I think the same way Ohio State had to let Dwayne Haskins go absolutely nuclear for them to start landing big-time quarterbacks, Michigan is trying to force the issue. The issue is, though, the best player on that team is a running back and not a quarterback.
Yeah, anyone that knows the Ron 3 rankings, Dante Moore, the number 1 player in the 2023 class, according to the best rankings out there.
Well, see, a lot of people don't like PFF, but a lot of people don't like PFF. PFF has graded out Dante Moore in all his starts above 90. And to me, that shit means something to me. I think Dante Moore is incredible. And additionally, Chip Kelly might have a really good quarterback and a really good defense. Their defense according to PFF is top 5 in the country in team defense.
Yeah, he might have one up there. Chip Kelly, Ryan Day's mentor, seems like he seems to be riding the ship over at UCLA. I want to get into a game that we talked about heavy last week, and no one was ready to get out on the ledge with me and predict the Spencer Rattler legacy game. I thought he was going to do it. It looked close early. Did you think Georgia was going to take a tumble at any point in that game last week?
Bro, hell yeah, I did, bro. Spencer Rattler got up there in the first half and he looked like he was playing for the big USC. He was going crazy, bro. And then it's like he got to halftime, looked in the mirror and said, do you remember who you are? You're Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler doesn't win games like this.
Bro, he let down the Riley Currys of the world.
Yeah, he let down Riley Curry, Jermaine Burton, and that one nigga that we see on Vine all the time that's crazy, or you see on Vine. You know what I'm talking about. The albino rapper.
So, Georgia, we watched Georgia almost stumble to South Carolina. Does this look like the Georgia teams that we've seen in the past 2 years? Is this a team that you believe could win a national champion, a three-peat with the amount of pressure that's going to go into that and the hype that's going to be surrounding that team, if they continue to win, do you think this looks like a team that's prepared to make another run?
As soon as I saw the starting quarterback of Georgia sending Snapchats to girls with his eyes looking to the upper right, talking about your titties look good, I should have known it was good, bro. Like, Stetson Bennett would never, bro.
Would never.
Like, look, I think Georgia's a really good football team. They should run the table, but damn, they strike zero fear in my heart. And the guy that maybe might end up being their saving grace is the fact that Kirby Smart is the greatest halftime motivator in all of college football right now. Because, bro, I don't know how you feel about Georgia. I'd love to get your thoughts. Do they strike any kind of fear in your heart?
No, and it worries me. But the only thing that does give me pause, though, is the fact that I don't think they're going to be challenged in the East, and they're going to have an entire season to get it right with zero threat of going down. Like, you saw probably their second biggest challenge, and they took that on the chin.
Honestly, and maybe their most dangerous game, given the fact that Spencer Rattler is so erratic. Like, Spencer Rattler came out that game and was really balling, bro. He was really hooping like he was back with Nico Mannion. Like, he was really getting after it. And then all of a sudden, he remembered who he was, and I will give a lot of credit to that Georgia defense. But, Ron, this is what's going to go on. Cam and I talked about it ad nauseum over the offseason. Georgia fans ignoring the loss of Todd Monken the way they did is crazy.
Absolutely.
Todd Monken last year was the best the very best play caller in all of college football when it mattered. He's a true NFL guy. He's a true, we're going to find the mark guy. He's true, we're going to scheme guys open. And I haven't looked at it since Monday, and nobody's played since Monday. But what Todd Monken was able to do for Brock Bowers will not be duplicated. Brock Bowers currently has worse stats than our guy, Cade Stover. And additionally, per PFF, depending on how you feel about the grades, they have Oscar Delp as the higher graded tight end. Because honestly, the two that made Brock Bowers maybe, and we will do a full diagnostics or whatever at the end of the year, may have been Todd Monken and Darnell Washington. Like, they really lost Darnell, Todd Monken, Keely Ringo, who they loved, and some other pieces with some tackle that I don't think is very good. And people just completely ignored it because we don't reload. No. You don't reload on the best play caller in college football. It's not that simple. There's a reason they never won with Bobo. There's a reason this dynasty was never a thing with Bobo. The dynasty was never a thing with Kirby by himself. The dynasty became a thing or a word because, honestly, it's Baker Mayfield's fault. Because Kirby Smart stumbled into Todd Monken.
A lot of talk last year was about how Darnell Washington enabled that offense to move because he was a third tackle that moved like a receiving threat at tight end. So that was able to open up so much more things for Brock and allow them to be so unpredictable in the run and pass game because it gave them so many opportunities to run out of different looks having him on the field.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I mean, a couple NFL scouts described Darnell Washington as a refrigerator with a V8 engine. Like, that nigga was moving, bro. That nigga was moving, and he was able to climb to the second level and clear out defensive ends because he was so massive. And honestly, bro, like, I thought bro was a couple cheeseburgers away from a tackle until I saw him catch a football and hurdle someone. I'm like, hey, yo, who is this alien? Who is this nigga? So,
oh, look at that. I was just about to change topics, but our guy, Jay Spivey, with the super chat. Let's jump right in there. How many points do we hold them to? Can we stop them? Over the top big plays that have hindered the D. Let's go. Fuck Michigan.
Bars.
What's the number? What's the number we've been saying all week, Chris?
Bro, you and I have the same number, and it's just another symbol that great minds think alike and great light skins are unmatched in this game, and we are two of them. The number is 17. Listen, bro. The over-the-top plays, regardless of how our corners are, I really don't think Sam Hartman's going to have any time because, like Ron and I have said multiple times, and we're catching a lot of heat on Bleacher Report. The interior of that Notre Dame offensive line are victims.
Victims, bro. Victims. That boy Rocco Spindler, I cannot wait to take our words from all the platforms that we've been on this week telling you about this guy being one of the worst Power 5 offensive linemen I've ever seen step on a field. And we're going to cut up all of his highlights because I promise you, you will hear that name multiple times tonight as Tyleek Williams and Mike Hall run right past this man, and he's looking around like he saw a ghost because he cannot block anything. We saw plays on the film room where this guy is getting up to the second level thinking he's looking for his block, completely missed the assignment. He's turning around. His running back getting blown up in the backfield because the guy he was supposed to block is smacking the fuck out of the running back, and he's still looking for his man. Like, bro, there's no one to block. You're literally the deepest person in the secondary. The safety's ahead of you.
Bro, we saw blood. We saw them struggle against NC State, and it got confirmed last night when NC State played Virginia, 0-3 Virginia at the time. NC State is ass.
Bro, they tried to tell us that was the best game between the two schedules.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we put those 6 teams in a rotation, I'm taking...
Bro, Western Kentucky might molest them.
Indiana too, bro. That Indiana defense was something. Like they have guys on that defensive line. They have linebackers that can play. We saw guys that are going to play on Sunday in that game against Indiana.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not going for the Indiana shit, but I do think Western Kentucky beats them.
You're not hearing it. You're not hearing that Indiana has a defense.
Bro, I think Indiana is regular. I think honestly, bro, like if I worked out for 6 months and went and walked on to Indiana, I would have a scholarship in 2 weeks.
Stop it, Cap. Stop.
I mean, I'm definitely capping, but isn't that what this show is for? You told me this morning this show is for the lies.
Bro,
so
you came in here on your Kasai shit right now.
No, I mean, honestly, bro, I do consider myself a plus athlete. I would definitely box the whole defensive.
When's the last time you sprinted?
I sprinted? Nigga, I don't sprint no more. I use a stick now. I got to run for it. I paid $350 so I don't have to run from nobody.
You have retired from the track meets.
Like, I paid $350 on this whatever, so I don't got to sprint from nobody. Especially Stephon Robinson.
Especially Stephon Robinson. Tell that nigga to pull up.
I might loogie on blood for real.
Bro, so we talked about Georgia potentially having a scare, and we're still on week 3 a little bit. We almost saw Prime go down, and man, would the media have been loud after that one. We saw Prime take a scare. What did you see in that game? Or were you surprised that game ended up being so close? You have to imagine the amount of emotion and pageantry around this program has to play an effect in, like, yes, it hypes you up, but it takes every game to that much next of a level, and that has to be emotionally draining for these kids week in and week out. Do you think the hype played into the struggles a little bit last week?
Honestly, bro, it's so crazy because 2 things at play here. I think that Colorado is getting the Super Bowl type treatment, even though they're not fully elite. And what I mean by that is we see the elite teams in all college football, all across the board. They always get everybody's best shot in large part because of success from previous years. Like, when schools play Bama, guess what? You're going to get that team's very best shot, even though that team may stink. Shit, we saw with Boston College last week when they played Florida State. Florida State struggled a little bit, but Boston College gave them their very best shot because they're amped up for the game. Colorado is not an elite program, but they're going to get teams' very, very best shot, which is going to lead to some of these close games and maybe a blowout today against Oregon to keep it a beam. But we're not going to get into that right now. It does concern me a little bit until I step back and think, you know what? For Prime this year, it's not about covering because they're not an elite team. For them, it's about can they continue to win. I compare this, and this might be a little bit messed up, but Mike Gundy every year down there at Oklahoma State does a really
He's
good
a
job.
man. He's 40.
He is 40. Happy whatever anniversary. Gundy does a really good job, but they don't always blow teams out, but they're consistently a good team. And for them, it's not about winning big or anything. It's about winning, period. And over the years, they've squeaked out a lot of close wins and a lot of upsets. And because of that, they're a top 15 team. They're one of those top 15 teams kind of over the last 5 or 6 years that maybe has a lot of close calls. I think that's what this Colorado team is because they're going to get everybody's very best shot.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be, it's like this. It's everybody's Super Bowl. Everybody wants to be the team that silences Prime. There's so many people every week waiting on the timeline, just preying on Prime's demise. And I feel like that's a good segue into this week. They take on Oregon, a conference opponent, a higher ranked opponent than them. There are so many questions around this team, and there's so many people waiting for this team to lose. Do you think the media is going to feast on this if they go down to a team that they're projected to lose by, 3 scores? Is the line on this?
Yeah, 21 points.
So do you think we're going to see a fair media reaction that would treat this team as we knew that Oregon was a better team going in, and if they lose, treat them like a team that lost to a better team? Or do you think they're going to pounce and try to really dance on Prime's grave?
Here's the thing. With polarizing figures, you always get people that want to dance on graves. And depending on who you're dealing with, it works one of 2 ways. So for this game in particular, I'm predicting, I'll just get it out there, I think Oregon is going to run through them like a hot knife through butter. I think it's going to be easy. Ron, I don't know if you know, but Oregon's offensive line is the only offensive line in the entire country that has not allowed a single sack or even a single QB hit this year. That's how good they've been protecting Bo Nix. And we know that Colorado is not great in the trenches. That's well documented. This game's going to get ugly. But certain media, they're going to jump on Black America's team and be really, really intense. The same way we've seen always. But because of that, I think there's going to be an overwhelming support from Black America's team that they're going to be able to drown out that noise and acknowledge that it is year one. Dan Lanning knows he's got something. Dan Lanning knows he's going to win this game. But for the sake of the world, I don't think they understand, because what Colorado has done has brought some real casuals to the table. Now that we've got Colorado playing well, Ron, you've got a lot of people that don't really know much about college football, that don't follow college football, that may have a voice speaking about Colorado. And I think those are the people that are going to get dunked on because they don't know exactly what they're talking about. And I expect them to be the ones to catch a lot of the flack. But in totality, I do think that because it's Prime, because Prime is so universally loved, that he will generate enough of an army to kind of drown out them being wrong. And additionally, what I'm curious about is Prime right now has been the face of amongst coaches of college football. Will a loss turn him into the heel? And that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake with this game, especially a lot to do with Prime and just Colorado as a whole. But I want to ask you about Shedeur Sanders. Do you think this is a game that he can solidify his draft stock in and really make a statement? There's going to be a lot of eyes on this game. There's going to be a ton of scouts watching. Do you think this is a game where, we've seen him ball out. I don't know how much more you need to see from him. You told him you needed to see him do it at the FBS level. He's balling out 500-yard games. Touchdowns on touchdowns. Do you think he still needs to show more? And if he does, do you think this is a game where he can finally solidify himself in the conversation as a potential day one pick? Or do you think he's already there?
Here's the thing. Shedeur is a really good player, and Oregon has a really good defense. And now we've seen Shedeur do it against bad defenses. If Shedeur can do it against Dan Lanning, bro, solidified. But between the two of us, I think bro's coming back next year no matter what. I saw the interview of Prime saying, "You niggas aren't going nowhere." Talking to both his sons, like, we got to run this thing back next season in the Big 12 when Texas and Oklahoma are gone. Like, you niggas aren't going nowhere. So
go ahead.
So I do think he does have a shot. Like, if he goes for 400 and 3 touchdowns, solidified for me at least. Take that nigga in the first round. But even if he does, no matter what happens, again, I think bro's coming back.
I mean, I feel like Prime could make the argument like, look, you're driving around in a Rolls Royce for a reason. Like, you owe me. You give me 1 year. I done given you a whole year's worth of salary in the NFL already in your life with these roofs I've put over your head, the cars that I've let you drive, all the vacations you've been on your whole life, man. I've paid you a year's salary. You could give me 1 more year because at the end of the day, one, he doesn't need that pounding on his body. It's not like they need the money. He has the money. There's no point for him to go to the NFL. It's not like he's rushing to a second contract. So, I mean, I could see Prime having that conversation like, hey, do dad an old favor and come back for 1 more year.
Especially if they land Underwood. So then you get Shedeur for another year, and then you get Underwood in there. And honestly, like, Prime's like nigga, because of the lifestyle I gave us, you were able to do this to a nigga on national television. You're coming back for another year, and we're gonna try to go win the Big 12. And plus, look, and I know this isn't Prime's MO because Prime's super competitive and a motivator, and I'm sure Shedeur is also. But from a business mind, bro, why would you want to enter a draft with Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Michael Penix? Like, enter next year. Like, enter next year when it's Connor Weigman and JJ McCarthy.
Just let that one sit there. Man, fuck JJ. So,
hey, that's you know what Zeke told me? Zeke told me he would buy me Jeff Ruby's if Oregon wins by 18 or more.
Sounds like you're going to Jeff Ruby's this week.
I better not see Denzel Burke there.
No lobster mac and cheese until the end of the season, bro. You're balling too much.
Bro, I'm not going to lie. Let me just say it as someone who's had the mac and cheese there. Denzel, I get it. I would have had a bad year too.
So you transitioned us perfectly for this Michigan conversation. You already started talking about JJ. We have a special guest here, my guy, Uncle Luke, not the Uncle Luke of Miami, but the Uncle Luke of Pittsburgh. And he's here to talk some Rutgers football. So I'm going to bring my guy Luke up now to talk some Scarlet Knights. Turn your camera sideways.
What it do?
What up, Uncle Luke?
Dude, what it do?
Man, it's a big week for you, bro. You tell me what it do. Did you wake up today?
Nah, man. I'm ready to go. I'm feeling big upset alert this week. I called Ron on Thursday, I think, and told him he needed to lock it in. So
hold up, bro. I got my DraftKings account ready and locked and loaded, bro. We talking? How you really feeling good?
So this is my take on it. So a little background. I won't say exactly how, but I have so most people start off by asking me why I like Rutgers, and I have ties to the program, like, directly. So I've been affiliated with them for probably about 7 or 8 years, and this is probably the strongest team that I've seen them have in the last, in the Shiano era too. This is definitely the strongest team they have. But I was listening to a podcast the other day that made a lot of sense. And what I called Ron immediately after I listened to it, and the main point that I made was, I think, and you guys are going to hate me for saying this, even if OSU had a terrible year, just say they lose, 4 or 5 games, whatever happens, I still think no matter what, Rutgers always matches up better than against Michigan, just because of the style that they play, number one. Sure. If you think back to the last 3 years, so back to the COVID year when Michigan was pretty trash, to be honest. We went to triple overtime with them. Realistically, should have won. Next year, I was actually at the game in the big house. Lost on the final drive because we fumbled. But the previous drive, we had missed a field goal to take the lead. And then last year, we were winning at halftime and then got decimated in the second half. So this year, we actually have a feasible quarterback that, if he's throwing the ball at all, I think is going to create a problem if they can't stop the quarterback running the ball. And secondly, I think that our defense is poised to completely stop the run. And if they can't,
Uncle Luke. This, it's Chris Drew. Thank you for joining the show. I need to know about that defensive front. Are you telling me that you guys have a good enough defensive front four, or is it going to take you guys loading the box and forcing JJ to really run around?
No, so we play most standard defense throughout the game. You'll see us. We play a 4-2-5, and one of our safeties actually plays as similar to like what Ohio State has, where he'll come up in the box. But our defensive front is the most experienced and best part of our entire team. So we have a rotation of 8 people that have played over 2 or 3 years in the Big Ten in the last couple of years. We just got a transfer this year from Ole Miss that's been getting a lot of time on the D-line. And pretty much 9 out of the 11 starters we have on defense are all juniors or seniors.
Okay, so senior laden team. You got a couple COVID year guys in that bitch that have been around since Tressel.
Yeah, Aaron Lewis has been playing good too. He was projected, I think, first or second all Big Ten. And he's actually a Michigan transfer, so he usually plays pretty well in this game.
Oh, so it's a grudge match for the kid.
Yeah, he's a Jersey kid, but at the end of the day, you transfer from anywhere. I think it's going to be a little bit of a extra boost on you. But I think what's going to end up happening is either one of two things. We're going to get completely blown out of the water from the first drive, or it's going to be close the whole time, and we're going to find a way to just like grind it out like a UFC match if you were just holding someone against the cage the whole time and like kneeing them in the stomach. So like
Illinois last year, right? Like Illinois last year against Michigan was that game. It's like we're just going to be up against the fence, and we're going to see who's the toughest.
Yeah, and honestly, and I hate saying this with this much confidence, I think that I'm not worried about their offense versus our defense as much as I am our offense versus their defense, because we are a little bit one-dimensional. Like, we don't throw the ball that well. Our receivers are probably the worst part of our team, and our offensive line's a little bit inexperienced. But we have a quarterback who's pretty young and can run the ball. And I think if he just makes good decisions. But the one thing I haven't talked about is that we have a running back who's second in the nation in rushing yards and second in touchdowns.
Oh yeah, talk that shit, Uncle Lou. Where's he? Is he better than Blake Corum? Talk that.
I think he rushed for 550 this year so far, and 5 or 6 touchdowns. And then he had a touchdown last week against Virginia Tech. It was like a 60-yard touchdown on a 4th down from like our end of the field. But he's solid. I personally think that I just read in the comments Will Johnson's question. So I don't know if anyone can confirm that, but that's going to be
Will is regular. We don't worry about Will.
But
he don't want to tackle nobody.
He don't want to see Julian Fleming.
I'll tell you, if JJ throws 3 picks, I don't know that they're going to be able to rebound the same way that they were last week. So
sheesh.
Hey, Uncle Luke, bro. I love you. You got me inspired right now. As the current, at least, number 1 Michigan hater in college football media, I just put down a bet, $10 on Rutgers to win 130. Don't worry about it, bro. I use my mom's credit card. So if it does hit, I'll buy you a drink.
Oh, dude, I was locked in when it was – well, that's the other thing, too. The line started off at the beginning of the week minus 30.5, which I thought was pretty disrespectful personally.
Disrespect.
Super disrespectful. Slam that cover.
Even though Bowling Green covered like 20 last week, but they moved it down to 24.5, and I still think I would take that, and I would hammer the under personally, because I don't think either of the teams are going to score that much. But I don't know. They don't scare me. I was at the Big House 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. Me and my cousin were sitting front row in Aiden Hutchinson's head the whole time, man. He was slacking, walking around. I was pissing off all the fans. Yeah, it was getting a little ugly, but I don't really care. I'm going to Iowa this year, so.
If Rutgers gets blown out, I'm going to have to wear this on the timeline. I'll wear it like a black guy. I love to box. I do want to ask you, though, as a Rutgers fan, as someone who's outside the Ohio State scope of things, how much fear does JJ strike in your heart personally?
No, and before you even answer that question, don't even say anything. I want you to, before you answer that question, the week before college football started, you sat right on that couch right there behind me and said, what? Who was your prediction for Heisman this year?
My exact words were, I think we were watching the spring game or something, but I said that I think that JJ could have a chance to win the Heisman this year. I don't think that he's gonna. But
this nigga stinks.
What I will say in regards to that is after seeing the performances the last 2 weeks, I don't think there's any chance at all. But
oh my God, what happened to Virgil?
I mean, what did he throw the first game? 5 touchdowns?
Bro, he was balling, bro. They were calling him JJ McBurrow.
And you know that the committee loves the teams that are going to be high up in the rankings. And, like, you know, I hate to say it, but, like, I don't think that Shedeur throwing for 300-400 more yards this year than JJ does is going to put him ahead of him if Michigan's sitting at number 2 going into the playoffs. So,
Is JJ still the top Heisman candidate though on Michigan? I guess we'll ask this for our next.
I don't think they have any Heisman candidates personally, but
you don't believe in Blake? Bro, I like Blake, bro. I'm more sold on Blake this year than I was last year. I think he has elite vision. Doesn't have elite burst, but he's got good vision, good one foot cutting.
I mean, if we're talking running backs, like I think if you're comparing running backs against the team you guys are playing tonight, I think Estime can make a way better case for Heisman than Corum could. But
to me, he looks too much like Master Teague for me. He doesn't do enough for your boy personally. Honestly, bro, like I'm sure we can talk about it at nausea, but I think this year in particular, there's too many good quarterbacks for even a running back to make it to New York. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I agree. And
so deep.
Penix keeps playing the way he is. He'll probably end up there.
Penix the one, black and left-handed. I've seen that before. He wore number 7 and had dogs.
And then you have Ohio State with 3 potential Heisman candidates that could be going to New York with Marvin Harrison Jr., Kyle McCord, and Tommy Heismanberg. So, I mean, it's going to be tough to get there for him to be a finalist this year. But look, before we get you out of here, we're going to have to get a prediction from you. Put it on wax. Are the Scarlet Knights going to get it done today?
I was talking to my cousin about this morning, and being a fan of Rutgers who won a combined 6 games in the last 2 years, I feel like I'm not going to shy away from saying this, but I'm calling the upset today. I'm thinking 24-21 with the last-second field goal and the late third or early fourth, and then we don't let them score from there.
Bro, Ron, bro, and Uncle Luke, bro, I love you, bro, but I'm not going to hold you. You niggas might get blown out today, bro. This Michigan team, this Michigan team I put is size 13 foot all the way up your ass, and it would have been different, but they struggled so much last week, and for a full week they've heard about the nonsense, and their head coach is coming back. I'm sorry, Uncle Luke. I'm rooting for you. I actually have my my Rutgers jersey upstairs, but you niggas is done for.
Hey, if it happens, here's the good thing about being a fan of a team that has 0 expectations. If they get shit on, then it's like what's supposed to happen. If they win, then we're about to be the next Big Ten East champion. So,
heard that.
God,
I'm rooting for y'all.
East champions, Jesus Christ. I appreciate you joining the show, Luke. I will talk to you in a bit, but big thank you for pulling up, and yeah, good luck to the Scarlet Knights. Appreciate you.
All right,
my Buckeye brethren, take care of yourself, Uncle Luke.
Yeah, and you were like, yeah, no Buckeye bias, even though he did pick JJ, which is crazy because Luke, despite being a Rutgers fan, is a closet Buckeye fan as well because, like I said, his connection on staff at Rutgers was on staff at Ohio State. We used to get free tickets to Buckeye games because his uncle was on staff. So, big shout out to Uncle Luke.
If you watch Ohio State and you get drunk enough and you squint enough, it basically looks like Rutgers. You trying to squint, bro?
No,
I
told you not to start drinking. I told you not to start drinking this early, bro. We had a long time to a game.
I'm about to ask you, bro. Do I have permission to go get up to the fridge and go get another drink?
While we bring up our next guest, go over to the bar and pour yourself up a drink.
You want to tell the chat about my bar? My bar is going crazy.
So right on the other side of that wall that you see there in Chris's shot is an immaculate bar, super coolly lit, stocked like a motherfucker, has a fucking s'mores kit on it. Man, Chris is living large. But I want to bring up our next guest. We just talked Rutgers, Michigan, and you know what we're going to talk more? Rutgers, Michigan, but we got the Michigan side of things. We got our guy, Darnell joining the show. What's good, Darneezy?
What's good? What's good? What's good?
Did I just interrupt your TikTok session? Because it sounds like it.
No. I sent this last night. I sent this out to a couple people who are close to the team. I said, with all the talk of how we played last week against Bowling Green, which we did, we played like some shit. I said the team just need to be listening to this the rest of the day.
Get back a motherfucker. Get back a motherfucker.
So what's up, fellas? I've been hearing y'all talk. Look, another great Saturday. College football this year.
Hey, a real nigga told my uncle Luke told me you niggas is on upset alert this week.
I heard
the real Uncle Luke, bro.
The real Uncle Luke.
A couple of my uncles do crack, but not that one.
The real Uncle Luke. It's funny that both of them is white too. That shit crazy. But
who told you about that? You got spies in Akron?
But how y'all boys, man?
My white uncle ain't done crack since 2013, so cut it out.
Hey,
He's
I'm
doing
excited,
well.
bro.
Shout out to him. Whole decade. He just got his decade chip.
And before I get off today, remind me, I got a special message. So my pops is like, shit, he's probably more Michigan than me. He called me last night and we talked about the Notre Dame Ohio State game. And I asked him, who did he want to win? I think it'll be interesting when I tell y'all what his thoughts was on it. But yeah, so we got Rutgers this week. Look, I'm one of those guys that kind of respects all of our opponents except for I didn't respect Bowling Green last week and was humbled.
You couldn't find 7 people in America that respect Bowling Green. So
I was definitely humbled last week. The team did not play up to their standards. They know that the head man is back on the sidelines this week. I think there'll be
pause. What's he do? You got someone on staff just talking niggas up on the sidelines.
Yeah, that's
cut it out. When Christian was here, we never paused. We just vibed.
Just vibes.
Yeah, I just thought about that. That's the perfect saying. That's what Cam would have been like.
Bro, imagine just seeing that on like the staff directory. Like, bro, what's your title, head man? Bro, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that was great. That was a flagrant too. I might have to service a suspension.
Who's shooting?
But yeah, Harbaugh's back. I think this team will be a lot more focused than they were last week. I know that they respect Rutgers. They know what Rutgers brings to the table, and they know, just like Uncle Lou said, last year they was in a dogfight to halftime. They was getting their shit pushed in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? AJ was getting killed. I remember.
What changed?
The defense turned up and turned them over 3 times. You throw 2 pick sixes and there's another pick. Like you said, it's hard for any team to overcome that.
If they don't turn the ball over, what do you think the score of that game is last year? If those turnovers just end up in punts at the end of that possession,
it might be a 7-point game. It might be a 7 because we wasn't down, we wasn't getting blown out at half, so it might still. I think we still win, but it's not a. I mean, we beat them last year by 21, 21 plus. It wouldn't have been that type of game.
Darnell, there's a question in the chat for you. A little betting proposition. Can we get your thoughts on this one? Over under 2.5 boogers eaten by Harbaugh today.
Damn. I probably will take the under, but tell me what the odds are, and I might switch my.
Even odds both sides.
Even odds both sides. I'm gonna take the under.
You take the under. All right.
So I was on with the Rutgers guy with Ant this week. We went over some things that they do well, and some things we do well. So I think it's gonna be a good game, man. Could it get out of hand late? Possibly. But I think for the first 15, 30 minutes, you strap it up.
Listen, bro, like I've been an Ohio State fan for so long, and I know that things have always been viewed under a different lens. Darnell, bro, we got to keep it a bean, bro. Michigan is chasing a championship. Are you okay with this being a dogfight for a little bit? Because for us, when we played Rutgers, it better be 88 out the gate, beating these niggas up from the first.
No, but You know what's funny, Chris? So I
Talk
was
to me,
on the
player.
phone. I was on the phone with I'm not gonna because we're live recorded, but I was on the phone with somebody that was close to the program, right? And
Jim
I, I wish I was. You say we're chasing a championship. The way I explained it to the person is, I feel like Michigan is chasing a championship, but I think these kids are chasing ghosts, if that make any sense. Like the expectations of you're that guy now, right?
Okay.
So for years, Michigan was able to play the underdog role, no matter how good the team was, right? Because when you went into the season, what did everybody say? This is Ohio State's conference to win.
Yeah.
You're just showing up. You're just showing up to the dance, right?
For second place. You've always been showing up for second place.
Correct. So or third place. I mean, look, y'all bring me on here because y'all know I'm gonna keep it 100 about all things Michigan.
Well, it may have been third place. Like if you look at their history books, but Darnell, bro, we know what it is. The real Big Ten title game is that November 25th game. Like that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So while the books may say that you guys finished behind Northwestern in terms of like winning the Big Ten in 2020, we know what it was, bro. We know what it was. You guys were behind Northwestern and Indiana.
I don't know about them, but yeah. So look,
bro, they got some NFL players on defense. Okay.
And so I think they're experiencing the ghost of you the hunted now. You get what I'm saying? Like you're the team that people are coming in press conferences that you really looking at like Nebraska talking crazy to us in press conferences. Yeah. They're like, hey, we practicing for Michigan. Like you're their Super Bowl. They want to upset you. They want
everyone's Super Bowl.
Yeah, you are the Super Bowl. I was a little bit earlier with Prime. It's like you are Naples Super Bowl. And that makes every week even tougher.
Because every week across the way, they're going as hard as they can go, right? Practices is amped up just a little bit more, and that didn't happen in previous years. And then, of course, these kids have to know they laid an egg last year against TCU. So that's in the back of your mind, too. It's like, bro, we got there last year. We played a team who we probably was more talented. There ain't no probably to it. You were more talented in, and you didn't beat them. And so when you combine all of that, I think that that's something that when I was speaking to who I was speaking to, he kind of agreed. He was like, I think the pressure last week of them feeling like they needed to beat Bowling Green by 60 kind of got in their head. You had certain people on the team that wanted to play hero ball and say, well, if you're not going to run your routes right, or if you're not going to hit the holes right, I'm going to just go do it myself. That's not what Michigan does, and that's not how they're going to win if they plan on winning the Big Ten and competing for a national championship. So I think
do you think some of that, like we're going to freestyle, comes with the head man not being there?
Yes, a little bit, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse because I've argued with people in my fan base all week about this, right? So
I'm Chris Drew. I'm a big believer in excuses. I use them on the daily. I use them every 30 minutes. So I'm a believer in excuses, and I wanted to allow you to have a chance.
So I think that I give that 10%, right? And I did ask that, and the person said, "Look, at the end of the day, the kids still got to perform, right?" Harbaugh being back though will allow coaches like Moore and Mentor to go back to doing what they do best, which is coaching their positions and calling the game, right? You don't have to worry about the duties of the head coach anymore because the CEO is back on the sideline. So I do think it'll help some. I think he would have calmed JJ down on the sideline last week after pick 1 and kind of got in him. It was like, hey, bro, you don't have to win this by yourself. He probably don't throw the other 2. But I definitely feel like the presence is going to show today. I think they come out a lot sharper today than they did probably the past 2 weeks.
I think so as well. I think they're gonna fuck Rutgers up, and I think I donated $10 to Vegas on this game. In large part because like when you do have a snooze fest of a game and you're back out there, I fully expect us to get the let's prove it version of Michigan.
Yeah, I think that
we're supposed to win this game Bowling Green version.
I think they needed that though. I think McCarthy needed that because sometimes you can, like I was explaining, I said this in the space yesterday. So these kids are human, bro. They on social media just like us. They on YouTube, they on Twitter.
We know.
So they're looking at all the comments from they're looking from all the comments from all sides. They're looking at the Michigan fans hyping them up, reading, feeling themselves. They're looking at the other fan bases talking shit about them. You get what I'm saying? So that all plays a factor. And I will admit this on Best Damn Media. I don't know this to be true, but I got a sneaky suspicion it is. I truly believe that the reason why McCarthy is pressing, or at least he pressed in the game he pressed yesterday, is because I truly believe he has a chip on his shoulder. I've said this since I've said it to Ron, I said it to Chris. The minute that y'all elected Kyle McCord to be your starting quarterback, I said game on. I said it's game on. It's like two rivals sitting at a table. He got told by your coach, hey, I'm not going with you. I'm going with this guy. The chip has been there since he's got to Michigan, and it's even bigger now because now he wants to show you was wrong. So it's a battle of who was right? Because he's a man too. He like, look, I picked the right guy. So I'm going to prove that he better than you. And the other kid on the other side is like, oh, okay, for sure. I'm going to show you that I'm better than him. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it's great because it ups the competition. But then if you're not really ready for that, you press a little bit, and that's where you throw 3 picks because you're trying to, man, I got to put up 4. I'm about to put up 4 touchdowns every week. It's like we only need you to put up 2, bro. Just put up 2 to 3. It's okay.
It just came to me. I know what JJ McCarthy is in NBA terms. He's Jordan, whatever his name is from the
Jordan Clarkson.
He's Jordan Clarkson. It's like, look, there's bad bitches on the sideline. You niggas drafted Dylan Windler instead of me. I'm finna go get my buckets. And every now and again, you'll get a 35-point explosion. But then you'll get that 1 for 11 game, and it's like, damn, this nigga stinks.
I thought the first 2 games. I will also say this: the play calling last game didn't help, which is why I've been very
didn't help him at all.
Crucial of Sherron Moore. I don't think Sherron Moore.
You think Sherron Moore had a little bit too much on his plate trying to be the head coach and the OC for that day?
Yes, I don't think that he's ready to be a head coach at this level. Not that he's not ready to be a head coach.
What about the Michigan State level?
No. To be honest with you, Chris, this is gonna sound real messed up. What I'm about to say.
Darnell, you can coach Michigan State right now.
This is gonna sound very messed up. What I'm about to say. I hope
Jordan Poole, not Jordan Clarkson.
I hope Michigan State fans don't take it personal. But to be honest with you, after this Mel Tucker stuff, I don't want to see another black coach head coach at Michigan State.
Honestly, I'm with you.
I'm just gonna be real because
what are we doing here?
Hey,
I'm just saying, bro.
I'm just being honest.
And now he's being slandered.
I'm not gonna. I respect y'all platform, so I won't say what I really feel. But just know, I don't want another black coach at Michigan State.
Neither do I.
Not in this America. Not in this America. I don't.
I agree with you.
Move on. So, but yeah, I think today is going to be very competitive for probably the first half. I hope that it's not. I hope that it's like Chris says, is come put your foot in that ass right out the gate. But I'm also a realist, and I know it could be 14-point game at half, which to me is still too close. But I do think they pull away in the second half. Do they cover? I think they fall short by like 4 points because I got it at 34-17. So I got it short by that's more than 4. That's 7 points.
88 not the gate. No, I think they're gonna work, bro. For real.
A little bit of housekeeping before we go on to the next topic. I see there's 60 people in here. Make sure you smash that like button. I know there's people that aren't in here on the regular. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed. We are chasing 5,000. I think we're down to like 50 subs away from 5K. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We do the college football pregame show here every morning at 10 a.m. And obviously, we're going to get into Ohio State Notre Dame here at the end of the show. But if you are interested in that game, me and Chris Drew will be live in the Bleacher Report app for an instant reaction after the game. And right after that, I will also be appearing on Mark Rogers TV with our guy Mike, Cleveland Mike, and our guy Q from the Buckeye Roast. So make sure you tap in with us after the game for all of your post-game needs. Chris Drew, what is your game of the week this week?
My game of the week, bro, I'm excluding Ohio State.
Obviously.
my guy, my bro, my dude, Jackson Dart is going to take on Big Bad Bama. I went on the TL and I put on the TL. That nigga Jackson Dart is better than JJ, and not a single Ole Miss fan has mentioned it. And now my boy Jackson Dart has a chance to go beat Bama and beat Saban. Ron, I've always viewed Saban's assistants as Saban's kids. I've always felt like Sark was the favorite kid and Kiffin was the weird middle child that Saban didn't like, but he did a good job doing the dishes. Sark beat Bama. Now it's Lane Kiffin's turn. And what I'm really curious about is like the timing of everything. Currently, Vegas has Bama as the favorite. Bama currently has the highest blue chip ratio in all college football. And the belief is they should be able to get this done. I put a little bit of cheddar on Ole Miss because I think Ole Miss can move the ball. And I watched Jackson Dart molest my Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets last week, and I think he's the one. So here we are. And if Lane Kiffin can't beat Nick Saban this year, I hate to break it to every Ole Miss fan, hate that Ole Miss will never ever beat Bama.
Wait, what? I thought you were setting me up for Ole Miss for winning.
No. I have Ole Miss winning, but but I'm saying this: like if Lane Kiffin fucks this up, he'll never beat Bama. This is the 1 year he's got a shot to do it. So,
if you're a Bama fan watching this game and you see Saban go down to his second assistant of the year, and you're thinking about that house that Saban just bought and the retirement that we know he's waiting on, if he were to call it quits after this season, which one would you want as an Alabama fan?
Definitely Sark, just because I think Lane is too much of a goofball to coach at Alabama.
You don't think he would like straighten up? Like you don't think he's learned his lesson enough to like go lock in to be the next guy that followed Saban? Especially just to like straighten it up just a little bit to stick it to Saban, because man, he would be itching to get back on the field if Lane came there and started tearing it up a year after he retired.
Bro, I don't know, bro. I mean, honestly, bro, like I expect whenever Saban's done for them to offer Sark the job first, and then when he doesn't get it, then you look around like, all right, Lane, bro, come on.
You don't think the other call is gonna be made?
The call to Mario?
Call
to who?
Ain't no way Kirby's leaving the dynasty that he built.
Call to Kirby?
Josh Gaddis?
No, but hell no.
Hell no.
Hey, right race, wrong person. You don't think they don't at least make the call?
Call Mel Tucker?
And call Prime?
No.
Prime at Alabama will be a problem for everybody.
I'd stop watching college football.
The best
this
thing
would turn into an AFC North show.
No. The best thing for college football is that if Bama has a bad year this year, it'll just increase racism down there because Jalen Murrow is the quarterback, and I don't think they will entertain Prime.
Yeah. I made that statement to my dad, and he was like, "No way, Alabama is getting a black coach." But to me, if I'm the AD at Alabama, you went to Jackson State, you was able to attack top talent there to a HBCU. Mm-hmm. You brought HBCUs back to the forefront of the picture for everybody to talk about in college sports. You leave Jackson State, you go to Colorado, a team that only won a game, and you got the city making over $100 million in the first 3 games,
which is crazy.
So I could turn Alabama back into the mecca of football by bringing you here, because you'd have at that point the best resources you've ever had. Who would turn Prime down to come play at Alabama?
Yeah, bro. If Prime went to Bama, I am starting an NFL channel. I'm done with college football.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I feel like the one cell that might trump the racism, like the one color that everyone loves, is green. And
Yeah.
Tuscaloosa, I mean, I doubt there's many Alabama fans talking. I've never been there, but I would imagine it's a shit stain. And like, I would imagine most of their economy is based around that football team. And if Prime is able to level up percentage wise, the Alabama, like the Tuscaloosa economy, the way he has for Boulder, I would imagine they would welcome that to their
Bro,
little town.
he would literally.
Yeah, Zach told me that shit was ass whenever I had to go visit down there. So that shit's
Yeah, no, that shit is.
I would imagine the college football environment, like what our guy in Miami say? I'm sure Tuscaloosa's cool on Saturdays.
What about
But
Tuesday?
it's still what about Tuesdays, bro? It's still Miami.
And Rushman is cool. I mean, Rushman is right in the chat. They can't transfer, so that would be the only thing to keep Prime there this year. But if Nick says okay, because I truly believe the arrogance of Nick, he's gonna do a fair word tour. I think you'll know the year, the year of him retiring. It ain't gonna be no, I lost this year, I'm out. He's gonna prep it because he's gonna want to have some type of say so in who's gonna replace him.
I think
so after next year, it's game on because Travis and his son will be gone to the NFL. So he then would be able to kind of.
I think Shedeur will. Yeah, they're both going to be there next year and the year after. Yeah.
So and then think about it. If and I heard you bring up Underwood. I actually believe that the team to beat in Underwood that really is scaring me is LSU.
Yeah, LSU.
Because it's just they got, for it to be a small town, they got a lot of the goddamn money down there. They make it happen. But if Prime is sitting there and he like, yeah, Colorado's great, I could run the Big 12. I really could run the best conference in college football. If you know anything about Prime, he's cocky enough to believe.
So arrogant.
I could be the GOAT. Like if I go to Alabama and then I'd have a endless of riches, I could be the GOAT. I go rifle off a couple national championships because I'm gonna get the best class. That shit is dead. He have a top 5 brand behind his name, unlimited resources. All he have to do is just go to the kid and offer him. The kid be like, you know what? Yeah. The problem Prime would have is turning kids away. Like, hey,
I'm saying, bro, if we go to the Bama, bro, it's gonna be about like
I don't got no more scholarships, bro. I can't bring you on the team.
Like he might land 10 5-stars in year 1.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
On top of the people trying to transfer in.
Ooh.
We just talking about.
I'm like, hey, Darnell, bro, I'm gonna be cool on it, bro, because I think my head coach is about to enter some rare air here. So I need that nigga Prime to stay put in the Big 12 and leave.
I want him to look, Chris. I want him to stay put too. But I'm just
unless y'all beat us again, then you might as well come to Ohio State.
Even if he's at Ohio State, any top brand Prime goes to, it's a wrap for everybody else. You heard it here first. He go to Ohio State, he go to USC, he go to Alabama. Wherever he goes to put that type of proven brand behind his name, it's a wrap for college football.
That's what I'm saying, Darnell. So, like, if y'all beat us this year, which y'all not, we finna boom on y'all. It might be the worst thing for all college football because if y'all boom on us, guess what? We're getting Prime. Then it's like, was it worth it?
So what you said is we need to lose this year to preserve college football. That's
what I'm saying. Like, y'all need to lose this year and take one on the weekend.
I'll send that up the ladder. I'll see how that plays.
She's up the ladder. Done 30 weeks.
What's up, Ron? You surprised me a little bit with that game of the week pick because I got another one for you, and it's not the one that I wrote in the show notes because, man, am I feeling like a Big Ten homer after the way I looked at these show notes, man. So I'm gonna switch it up here a little bit, man. The Cheesy Tigers are playing the Florida State Seminoles for what, preseason ACC championship, I guess it seems like. So I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that game. Like, I feel like we're looking at two teams that, like, I'm hoping for both of them to find a way to beat Miami because last week on the Fans Edge, I went through the entire Miami schedule and I was scratching my head like, man, 12-0 is sounding less and less crazy each week, especially the more and more football I see played by Florida State, Clemson, and North Carolina. So, are we watching a preview of the eventual ACC champ? And is this are we watching the battle for the ACC this weekend?
Bro, it's so goofy because like I'm ready for Bama and Clemson to both have 2 losses go like at the end of September. Like I'm so excited for it. And I've also like been waiting for the official like we can always tell Clemson fans like, oh yeah, like we definitely broke y'all. And they'll come back with some shit like yada yada this, yada yada that. But if they lose 2 games before September, it's cooked forever. Like there's no excuses anymore. Before September ends, I mean, my bad. And I worried though that Florida State is going to stop my parade. I think that how vulnerable they looked last week really bugged me. But fuck, dude, like that's going to be a really great game. I think that Clemson's too talented for this to be a blowout. But at the same time, like I really need Clemson to lose so the hater nigga in me can come out on the timeline.
If Florida State were to lose, how much does that shake up the playoff picture if you remove them from contention?
Well, it changes everything. One of the things that I kind of had in the show notes is like if Florida State loses this game, I think that the entire ACC might cannibalize themselves. Because if Florida State loses, it proves to me there's no dominant team in the ACC, and Riley Rhymes or Riley Leonard or whatever you want to call him, the white boy that can 360 windmill, might really fuck up the whole plan for everybody. And that includes, well, honestly, they don't play Miami, but it does make it intriguing because if both teams look vulnerable, bro, Miami Twitter is going to be at an all-time high. In fact, I might cancel my cable if Florida State loses this game because I don't need it anymore because I got Miami Twitter.
They are going to be the most insufferable fan base in existence across all of sports if they run the table in the ACC.
But if the ACC cannibalizes itself, you know what it does? It opens up the door for 2 Big Ten teams to make it to the playoffs.
No, not 2 Big Ten teams. 2 Big Ten East teams.
Talk that shit, Darnell. I like when you talk to me like that.
I mean, the best division in college football is the Big Ten.
See, I like when he talks to me like that.
It is going to be a sight to see 2 Big Ten East teams get in the final playoffs.
Yeah.
Penn State make their first playoff with Ohio State, and just a big send off to let people know, we expect at least 5 seats at the table in the 12-team playoff. Get it in writing.
People better prepare for that. I don't know. I don't know about that in the
Darnell, like this nigga's not playing. I'm serious. I want half the bids.
Yeah, I don't know if we got any SEC fans in the chats, but look, it's gonna get real disrespectful for you guys here shortly. Y'all better pray and hope that 2 things don't happen. You better hope that the Big Ten don't approve revenue sharing with our fucking contract, our media contract, and you better hope that fucking they keep allowing you to buy NIL players. Because I'm telling you right now, you motherfuckers is broke. I'm sorry to be cussing on the chat, but you're broke. ESPN ain't got no more money for y'all.
It's the second time someone's apologized for cussing on this channel, as if I'm not on this channel every day saying fucking nigga every other word.
I'm a guest too. You gotta really say it with your chest, like fuck you, broke ass niggas. You niggas got less money than Stephon Robinson.
Yeah, they
fuck that nigga Stephon Robinson.
Hey, I don't know if Miami goes 12-0. Shout out to Gmo. I don't know if they go 12-0. I think they can. I think ACC cannibalizes itself. I think by the end of the year, Clemson will have 2 losses. Florida State will have either loss or 2 losses, and Miami will have a loss or 2 losses, and they get left out the playoffs. That Big 12 shit is garbage, so we ain't got to worry about them.
Bro, they got
12 is the only one that can mess up and then the SEC. Y'all not getting 2 teams in either because that shit down there is fucking garbage.
No, the SEC looks weird this year, bro. Like, how are they so ass?
Bro, we've been trying to tell them that the East is terrible, and they're like, oh no, Tennessee,
and that's crazy
Kentucky, Florida, they're all ass.
Yeah. But yeah, that game of the week I'll be looking into.
So before we move on to our next topic, I again need to ask you guys. I feel like fucking Bernie Sanders over here. Can you please smash that like button, like this video? I'm once again asking that you like the video. I'm not asking for.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep it a beam. If you don't like the video, your mom's a hoe. Like it's really that simple.
I mean, free.
I didn't want to have to go there, but facts are facts.
It's free to do, man.
Hey, bro, I don't know who let me drink on an empty stomach, but I'm fucked up.
Bro, when we set out to plan this show, I said my anticipation was people would be drinking and smoking during the pregame show, and I would imagine there's plenty of people drinking and smoking during this pregame show. So shout out to the people that aren't afraid to get the party started in the morning. So enjoy your morning.
Like these Arizona joints, they don't taste like nothing but some Arizona tea. Like I feel like I'm back in the hood.
Hey, y'all had great games of the week. The game of the week I have, and I know y'all touched on it earlier. I just want to give y'all quick thoughts on it. As much as I just hyped up Deion, my game of the week is Oregon, Colorado. It's gonna get real sexual up there.
Bro, Dan Lanning is crazy, bro. Because not only did Bully pop his shit in the preseason media day talking about what's Colorado. Bro, it's crazy he said that because that nigga just got to the Pac-12. He's not a Pac-12 historian. He's an SEC boy. And then he got on the microphone to double down. Like, yeah, he damn near said the N-word to me the way he was saying fuck Colorado. I was like, whoa there.
He circled back on the block saying, wait, I want to make sure I know I'm still here.
He turned to 21 Savage talking about spin the block twice like there ain't nowhere to park. Like, nigga, chill out. That's still prime.
Hey, I told him yesterday in the space that we was having, I said, could you imagine watching on your TV, Oregon, running up the sideline, scoring a touchdown, and they fucking brand new chameleon cleats are changing colors? Like, they dropped cleats that are heat activated, changing color cleats that Nike just came out with. So imagine you seeing a kid running up the sideline against Colorado. And color of his cleats change.
He said, is that nigga running so fast his cleats is changing color? I'm not gonna lie, bro. If that happens and I'm Shedeur and we're losing big, I'm going over to the sideline. I'm putting on my iced out Patek, and I'm walking over there, and I'm playing ball with the Patek on. If I get sacked, guess what? When the D end is celebrating, I'm going like this because I don't care. Y'all may got the win, but guess what? I got more money than you.
I'm telling
you. How long until we get the LeBron interview out of someone from Colorado? At the end of the day, we may have lost, but when I wake up tomorrow, I'm still prime.
That's what I'm saying, bro. If I'm Shedeur Sanders and somebody sacks me, I'm buying your apartment complex and I'm raising your rent. I have more money than you.
Bro, Shedeur
Christian said, I'm not even kicking you out. I'm going to make you feel broke on your way out of here. If you can't afford it, you just got to go.
Bro,
that's what I'm saying. You want to sack me? Guess what? Rent $1,600. Fuck, nigga.
For an efficiency.
He just had an interview with Brady where Brady was like, Deion brings up he has a Rolls Royce truck. And he tells Brady, it's a Cullen. I know you got one of those. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting into that video of that guy that's laughing when he gets into the the Phantom and he's closing the door. I do that same video to Oregon if I'm Shedeur tomorrow morning.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I play for Colorado, I'm a sore loser. Like, yeah, you won, but nigga, let's compare bank accounts. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm on, bro. And I've never been that type of nigga, but the liquor's hitting me a little bit.
All three of us have had great games of the week. I think we're gonna have a great slate of college football this week. Tons to watch, but I want to get on to my favorite segment before we get out of here. Appreciate everyone for joining the show. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button and find us somewhere doing a post game after the show. Bleacher Report, Mark Rogers TV, wherever you tune in, make sure you're there. But my favorite segment every week, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job warning you about teams that are not going to play great against their opponent. I want to get your guys' upset alerts for this week. Chris Drew, who you got on upset alert? Because there's a huge slate of good games, and I feel like we're going to see some Giants fall. Do you have anyone on upset alert?
I mean, I guess it's not really super fair, but I have Florida State on upset alert just because I think that Clemson is so talented, and I think that that Florida State is like a quote unquote glass cannon. I think they're good, but I don't know if they can take a test early to the jaw. So that's why I got on upset alert. But other than that, like I mean, I don't know if Alabama counts as upset alert because kind of optically Bama's been getting shit on all week. But all I got is really. All I got is really is Florida State. I think Penn State should handle Iowa, though. That would be my second choice if I had a second choice. But Definitely Florida State.
Darnell?
I'm gonna shock y'all a little bit. I heard y'all talk about him as the player, but not the team. To me, UCLA upsets Utah, and it's the coming out party. It's the coming out party to my boy, former Detroit product, Dante Moore. Huge fan of the kid. Very upset when they couldn't get it done to get him to Michigan, but I think they beat Utah this week. I think this is when you start to see the Pac-12 start to cannibalize itself.
That's fair. If they beat Utah, you have to put Dante Moore's name on that wall right outside of downtown Detroit that has like Babyface Ray, like all those Detroit rappers on it. Like if he wins this game, you got to put his name on there. Like I don't care.
I'm excited to see what he does, man. He's been tearing it up. So I'm that's my upset. I don't think the whiteout is going to be too tough. I know Ryan put that video out there about Cade and Eric all winning, but I think the whiteout is too tough for them to play in. I'll give my thoughts on you guys' game here shortly. And saying Alabama going to get an upset is like low-hanging fruit because they're just not that good. So
damn, chill on me, Darnell.
So, I'm super excited about this segment because I don't have just one. I don't have two. I don't have three. I am putting the entire Big Three from the Big Ten East on upset alert. I think all three of the Big Three will likely win today, but I feel like all three of them are playing in losable games.
That's
obviously
a crazy parlay.
That is a crazy parlay.
I wouldn't even. I might have to put it in because if it were to happen, I'd have to pay for my funeral when I take a bridge because there ain't no way we're losing to Notre Dame.
Not a funeral for his bridge.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's gonna be bad. If the Buckeyes lose to Notre Dame, but I think all three of these teams are in tough matchups that they could potentially overlook. I feel like Rutgers has made it ugly for Michigan. The past 3 years, Penn State is playing Iowa in the whiteout, and I feel like that, like Darnell said, that juice is just going to be too much to overcome. But I do feel like Iowa has the defense that can make it a dogfight for Drew Aller and really give him a challenge. I feel like this is going to be the toughest defense that he has seen to date, and I'm interested to see how he responds. And I feel like the same can be said for Kyle McCord. We have two young quarterbacks that are leading, they're both driving Ferraris essentially, and I want to see how they're able to handle it now that the speed is increased. So I have all of the Big Three on upset alert, and I feel like if any one of those three tries to get cute, they will get popped in the mouth this week. So, I mean, I feel like that's a segue right into the big game, the one that we've been waiting for it seems like 10 months. We've been waiting for Ohio State to take on a ranked opponent, and they are finally going to be tested against Notre Dame today. And me and Chris Drew have talked about this ad nauseum this week. So I'm going to pitch it to Darnell, and I want to get your thoughts on this Notre Dame Ohio State game.
Man, it's like sitting on the sideline watching both of your ops, and you like, can both of you motherfuckers lose?
Can they both lose?
Room for a tie.
Yeah, but I'll start out with having a conversation with my pops, who is, biggest Michigan fan I know. But he's old school, right? He born in the early 60s, so he saw the 10-year war. That's what he grew up on. So I called him last night, getting ready to talk about the games and bring up Ohio State, Notre Dame. And I said, bro, so who do you want to win tomorrow? And he says, well, I hate them both just the same. Probably hate Notre Dame a little bit more. He said, but I'm going to, he said, I won't be publicly rooting for Ohio State. He said, but I want to see Ohio State win. He said, because the best games in a rivalry is when both teams showed up at the end of the season, undefeated for all of the marbles. He said, I just remember as a kid seeing an undefeated Michigan, undefeated Ohio State, and the pure joy of seeing Michigan beat an undefeated Ohio State, stopping them from going to the Rose Bowl, or the pure agony of seeing Ohio State stop a Michigan team. from going to the Rose Bowl. He said it just was the greatest thing to him. So he says forever he will always root for Ohio State to be undefeated going into the game and for Michigan to be undefeated going to the game. So he said he will be rooting, not publicly, but silently for Ohio State to get the job done. Now, as far as for me, I think this is going to show me as a Michigan fan what do I have to prepare for in November, right? I do think that Notre Dame is going to try to stress some of your weak points on defense, which is good because if they hit on it, then I know as a Michigan fan, okay, look, they can bottle you up in a run, but that secondary still ain't good. Or that secondary ain't got better, the run game and fell off a little bit, stopping the run. And so as a student of the game, I'm just be watching to see what tendencies do Notre Dame try to exploit. And then also, Ryan, you brought up Kyle McCord's first game as a road starter. The atmosphere.
Well, he played at Indiana, but yeah, this is going to probably be the most electric environment with the most at stake.
Yeah, the atmosphere is going to be electric for them. They're going to be hyped up. Their fans have been confident all week that they can beat you guys. I know Ohio State fans travel; they'll be down there, and so just seeing how he attacks it, right? Because if you guys win this game, I'm not going to say it's going to be on his shoulders, but if I'm Notre Dame, that's why you would have to win the game. If I'm their DC, yeah. You have Marv. As far as I'm concerned, Marv could go off for 250 yards as long as you don't beat me twice. Like, you guys are at your best. The teams that scared the shit out of me in past Ohio State teams they could do both, right? Mm-hmm. I can hand the ball off. I can throw the ball.
Yeah, I think the scariest Ohio State team, at least for me recently, was like that 2019 Ohio State team that had JK and Justin.
Yeah, because at that point, what do you do? As a defensive coordinator, what do you do? Oh, I'm going to take away your run.
You pack it up and accept that you're going to get the blame for the loss, even though you had a bunch of real niggas just dominating.
It didn't matter. It's like running. It's like running up against that LSU team, right? It's just like, what do you do? Like you're in total conflict. So, I think that this game is close. I think the spread is right. I think y'all probably win by a field goal, maybe. I wouldn't expect.
I hope we don't have to kick it last minute.
Nah, I don't think it's going to be a last minute field goal, but I think you guys kind of hold them off. I think y'all beat them, like I said, no more than 7 points. But this Notre Dame team is going to be a lot scarier than it was last year. I know people are down on Hartman, but I think Hartman is a good quarterback.
And Hartman shows up in the really big games. I mean, last year against Clemson, he went for 406 touchdowns. No,
yeah, and that offense was a little bit different, though. It was kind of weird because it's that slow
A.T. Perry is the most underrated receiver in all of college football last year. A.T. is a dog, bro.
Yeah, the slow RPO thing, I don't think that's a real offense. But yeah, I think that you guys kind of pull it out late. You beat them by between 4 and 7 points. And you guys are undefeated going into waiting for your next big opponent, which will be Drew Allen and Penn State.
Okay, here we go. This is for you, Ron. If you put $2 on the trifecta parlay in terms of Rutgers, Iowa, and Notre Dame, $2 wins you $383.
Damn.
Is it worth it? I don't bet against my teams. I don't even like betting on my team, let alone betting against it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I never win office polls for NCAA brackets because, despite all of the Ohio shit that you see behind me and all the Ohio State gear, and Darnell can relate to this, we are both Duke basketball fans, and I root for Duke like crazy, and I cannot write it on a piece of paper that Duke will ever lose a game. And every poll that I fill out, whether I fill out 50 brackets or not, it's 50 different ways for Duke to win the national championship. And if you've done the math, we've only gotten 3.
Ryan.
Yeah, 3. 4, technically 4, but I didn't fill out a poll the year I was born, so I've only seen 3. I haven't won too many offense pools with Duke winning. I can't put my money against my team.
Every year that
I got an issue. Like, as soon as the alcohol touches my tongue, we're gambling.
And I'm worried for you because this is like the 9th bet now that you've told me about, and I've seen you in that exact same room take massive L's financially because you've been betting since the start of the day, and I feel like we're going down one of those paths right now.
You got to give my boys some help.
Yeah, I placed my first bet after I had that first sip of alcohol this morning.
That's bad.
Crazy thing about the Duke thing is the 2 years. The last 2 championships they won was the 2 years I did not pick them in the bracket. And those 2 years that they've won. So last year I didn't make a bracket because I was kind of like, maybe I'm jinxing the team by picking them. So this year I'm gonna make a bracket and not pick them, right? That's what we got to do. Yeah.
So Chris, before we get out of here, there's been one word that we've used that we think is going to define the outcome of this game. We talked about the number 17, but there's one word that we've used to describe what's going to define this game, and that word is victims. So I just want to give one more shout out to our guy, number 50, Rocco Spindler, because you will be the star of the show today. And I just want to get your final thoughts on the game before we get out of here.
Dear Rocco Spindler and Rocco Spindler's parents, if you need anything, I've got you. I've always advocated for victims. I've always reached out and helped victims. And if life post-football doesn't work out, I'd love to get you on the microphone. But this Saturday at 7:30 or whatever the fuck ever, when you trot on the field at 7:38 and Mike Hall from Cleveland is looking across at you, you're a victim.
A victim. And that's pretty much the only way to summarize this game. Anyone that's watched the film knows what this guy's about. They know what Mike Hall did to the same center that's going to be back this year. I mean, he skated because 50 has been so bad. We haven't even talked about Zeller, whatever the hell his name is, their center, victim as well. We saw Mike Hall pushing him around with one hand last year, and I know that Mike Hall's only gotten stronger. So I don't think
Rico
that he's
not been playing well?
Huh?
Rico Spindler's not been playing well?
Rocco
stinks.
Rocco stinks.
You know what,
Where's
Chris?
he from?
That's a shame because I could have swore that, when he picked Notre Dame over Michigan, they said he was going to be the next coming of Joe Thomas.
Yeah, that boy is ass.
Hey, you can look up.
I'm not even going to hold you.
You should look up where he's from. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, is he from Detroit?
No. He's
a Farmington Hills boy. Only people from Farmington Hills name their kids Rocco.
Close, but he's a little further out.
Okay, where's he from?
It's just funny how that whole recruitment, his family. That's for a whole nother show. I can tell you how that recruitment.
We might have to have a Michigan update and have a little bit of a story time. But we have been in here for an hour and 30 minutes. We appreciate everyone tuning in to the best damn college football pregame show. Shout out to all of our guests, Uncle Luke, Darnell. There's still 50 people in here. If you have not, before you get out of here, make sure you like that video. And obviously to all of our Buckeye fans and college football fans worldwide, if you want an instant post-game reaction, make sure you tune in with me and Chris Drew on Bleacher Report after the game. Immediately find us in the Ohio State team stream. We will also be streaming on Mark Rogers TV, the Voice of College Football Ohio State channel. So make sure that you're tapped in both of those places so you could find us. You may see me pop up in an Ant Wright playback to troll these Michigan fans if things start to get ugly. So we will be out all day today. So Darnell, let the people know where they can find you.
Man, you can find me at Darnell J. Porter on Twitter. You guys can also follow the new pod Twitter, Michigan Unplugged. We will have episodes starting next week on all things Michigan. And I'm just super excited. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm always down to come talk ball with you guys. Y'all know I'm going to always give y'all a real approach. I'm not going to come up here and give you that Michigan Blue Kool-Aid fan approach. I'm real.
You keep it real, and I can appreciate that for sure.
Absolutely. Chris Drew, where can the people find you? The way you've been going this morning, I think they're going to find you at a meeting in a couple weeks. I don't know if it's going to be for gambling or drinking, but one of those letter meetings I feel like you're going to be at.
I mean, depending on how today's goes, they might catch me at Blitzaholics Anonymous with Jim Knowles. But honestly, bro, to keep it a beam, you can just find me wherever Ron is.
I know, bro. I think we've done a show together for like 5 days straight, bro. We're pulling up everywhere together. So we appreciate all the people that tuned in. We did our first live stream onto the timeline. So if you saw this on your Twitter feed and tapped in, we appreciate you tapping in there. We're going to start streaming all of our shows, simulcasting them to both Twitter and YouTube. So we appreciate you pulling up. And
hey, one sec. Fuck Stephon Robinson.
Yeah, bro. That's going to be in the pregame speech, bro. Right before they run out the tunnel, Kyle McCord's going to go Bucks, and fuck Stephon Robinson.
And probably Lou Holtz, too.
Yeah, Lou Holtz too, his old ass, bro. Push him down the steps on the way out of the stadium. But it's big Buckeye shit. You know what the fuck it is. It is an Ohio State Saturday, and we're about to assert our dominance in college football and remind everybody who the fuck the Buckeyes are. If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at 2Ts. You see that shit right there on the screen, 2_TEES. You can find me on Twitch at the same thing, and on TikTok at 2Shiesty. We'll see you at the post-game show, and before that, obviously the Ohio State halftime space for the best damn space. Make sure you guys tap in. We appreciate you tuning in every week to the best damn college football show. We appreciate you guys. Go Bucks in OH. No IO, Darnell? Come on now.
That she wrote, speech to the young, speech to the progress toward. Say to them, say to the down keepers, the thumb slappers, the self-soilers, the hominy hushers, even if you are not ready for the day, it cannot always be night.